Hi, my name is Willan Ziada, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and also a proud Phoenix Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with acclaimed singer-songwriter, BRYN JAHNA. For more on BRYN, you can read more about her right below this video. But in the meantime, take a sneak peek at the amazing talent of BRYN.
Little children, mechanical parts, nuts and bolts make up your hearts. Little children, time neglects its friends. Your changing face it cannot see is metal encases everything but your teeth. No inventor nor blacksmith made you, but over time life hammered in the words that constructed your metallic skin. Metal hearts are built from pieces torn from the emotions that left you with scars. Little hearts take a lot to tear down when you're so afraid to show who you are. Metal hearts, metal hearts.
Well, hello, BRYN, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, and I'm so excited that the audience got a little sneak peek of your amazing talent with Metal Hearts. Where did the idea of that song come from?
Well, it's basically like, I'm sure other people can relate to this, but feeling that the way you present yourself sometimes to people is maybe a little bit more reserved, a little bit more just like you're not as open, and especially if you're not comfortable with certain people, you really have just like a shell around you. So that idea kind of is where that comes into play, feeling like you're made of metal, and from whatever experience you've had like growing up or anything at all that has kind of like given you that armor almost, especially as it relates to other people. I just really was feeling like that when I wrote it, and so yeah, that's kind of where the message and the inspiration comes from.
I love it. I mean, look at, I wear my armor every day. I'm in a uniform. I wear the same hat, same shirt. Well, they're different. I do shower, believe it or not. And,
That's
but it's
good.
part of my armor. But I think, in listening to the song and in listening to what you're saying, what I love about you as an artist is that you're willing and able to go into the vulnerable. And I think, now more than ever, I think people have gone into the vulnerable these past 18 months, more than ever before. And I'm curious how you as an artist has maybe shifted your perspective, or maybe it's accentuated your why you do what you do.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, so from the pandemic and being in lockdown especially, I that was my first kind of time writing songs on guitar. And so being always being an introspective person, I have found like those types of topics like always very interesting. However, yes, like having to look at yourself 24/7, being with yourself 24/7, especially if you're not with your family, which I wasn't, it really can get to you. So it's kind of like being able to tear everything apart in terms of songwriting, and owning up to a lot of maybe flaws or insecurity. I definitely got very inspired and just intrigued by the idea of being very open about that. Of course, I am someone who always writes in metaphor, but finding like a really interesting metaphor to talk about those types of things has, and especially in the past year and a half, been like the most prevalent. And actually, I did recently, a few weeks ago, just release my EP, and all of those songs are kind of like written during the pandemic, and like all of them talk about that kind of stuff.
I love it. Talk to me a little bit about your EP and where people can find more about it. Well, obviously, they're going to see all of the links about you below this video. But yeah, talk to me a little bit more about the EP.
So it's called Chaotic Brain, and that's like there's a title track like called Chaotic Brain on it, and so it's basically like everything I kind of just said. It talks a lot about insecurity, fear of the future, you know, family, your own self-awareness, your life, and I personally really am into nature and like garden kind of metaphors, but as a songwriter I do like a lot of darker themes, so it definitely always goes with that. So something that's I really like listening or seeing something, and you know when you're done with it you're like you know, like you just feel that like, oh my God. So that's like always like what I strive for with the writing. And that's definitely, I think the entire collection, there's 6 songs, kind of make you feel that. And, you know, I did start the EP based on the song Chaotic Brain. And that was the first song I had written on guitar that truly felt like it was coming from me, because before that, every single time I tried to write on the guitar, it just was something else. Wasn't me. Like I played piano before that, so it truly like connected with me, and I just kind of went with that sound, and that's kind of how the EP came out.
I love that. I mean, you became a vessel. And I mean, that's how some of the best artists, when they talk about their greatest works, it's how it comes about. You know, there's something about your EP, though, that is interesting. This whole dichotomy of light and dark. I mean, I'm in the throes of creating, I'm a director, and I'm in the throes of creating and set to direct a musical in regards to Vincent van Gogh, as seen through the eyes of his sister-in-law, Jo, who many people don't know, was the one who got all of his artwork sold. And a lot of what you're talking about is actually what I love so much about Van Gogh, the light and the dark. Are you familiar with Van Gogh's art, a fan of his?
I've definitely seen a lot of his stuff. I do like it. Um, I probably know maybe more of like the really basic ones,
Yeah, like
but
Starry Night.
yeah, like that. But definitely very beautiful. That's something I definitely love.
But it comes from a place like Van Gogh, he used nature as a vehicle to express dark, complex issues. And I love that dichotomy, because also at the end of the day, Bryn, I mean, I know I'm talking to an artist that believes this. That's called life. Life is filled with dichotomies. That's what makes it horrifying, sad, devastating, but also exciting.
Absolutely. And I think doing that, you know, making people see things about, especially like people who aren't artists, they,
Yes.
you know, a lot of times you don't really stop and think about like a lot of really little things or random things that people just kind of pass by, or you think you want to be present in the moment, or you want to appreciate it, but you just don't know how. For me and a lot of my friends who are artists as well, it's kind of like the ability to break down a moment or something that people don't generally think a lot about into like this really beautiful description. Maybe it's sad, you know, because these are things like nostalgia, you know, nostalgia gives you like a sad feeling almost. Um, and, you know, it's just kind of like writing about it, spending time crafting art about it makes you feel like you are actually elongating it, and it makes you feel like you're appreciating it in the moment, and then when you give it to someone else to listen to, then they can say, oh my God, like I didn't think about this, or yeah, I remember, you know, my childhood home, and I remember doing this, I remember, like, you know what I mean, like it really, that's what art's about. It makes you stop and look at something, and gives you that, just like you're, for a moment, you know, it feels like they've captured this thing about life that maybe would have gone unnoticed. So
Oh,
that's what I love.
well, Bryn, I could speak with you forever. You are an incredible artist yourself. And I just, again, want to remind everyone viewing, for more on the amazing Bryn, you can read more about her right below this video. Bryn, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it so much.